Behind the Bluebird pub, there was a big car park. It was a busy pub, and every night there were lots of cars there. Tonight, there was a woman in the car park too. She stood in the dark, behind a tree, waiting and watching. Her name was Sophia, and she was 20 years old. She worked in a hotel 6 days a week, but not on Sundays. On Sundays, Sophia did something different, and today was Sunday. It was cold. Sophia put her hands inside the pockets of her coat. It was a night for trousers, but Sophia wore a short skirt, and nothing on her legs. That was important. After a while, a woman came out of the pub and walked across the car park to a black Ford car. The woman was about 40 years old, and she walked slowly. She sang quietly, with a little smile on her face. "She's drunk, but she's going to drive, I suppose," Sophia thought. The woman got to her car and put a hand on it. She wore a long yellow coat and green trousers, and she had blonde hair. Very, very blonde hair. Sophia took a small bottle from her pocket. There was some red liquid in it, and she put some of the liquid on her leg. Then, she ran quickly across the car park to the black Ford. The woman opened the car door and half fell into the driver's seat. She laughed and said, "Oh, Dorothy Collins, you're drunk again." Sophia was now behind her car, crouching on the ground. When the car began to move back, she jumped to her feet and hit the car with her hand. Bang! Suddenly, the car stopped and Sophia fell down on the ground behind it. She put her hand on the red liquid on her leg and quickly smeared some of it on the back of the car. Dorothy Collins got out of her car and walked to the back. When she saw Sophia on the ground, her face went pale. "Oh, what happened?" she cried. "My leg, oh, my leg," Sophia said, and she began to cry. But what happened?" said Dorothy Collins. Then, she saw the red liquid on Sophia's leg. "Oh no, there's blood on your leg." "Yes, because your car hit me, that's why," Sophia said. She stopped crying and began to look angry. I didn't see you behind me," said Dorothy Collins. "You didn't see me because you didn't look." "You're drunk," Sophia said angrily. She stared at the woman. Dorothy Collins was suddenly very afraid. I. Yes, you smell of whiskey. I can smell it from here. I'm going to call the police now," Sophia said. "Oh no, please. I'm very, very sorry, but not the police, please. Listen, I can help you. I can drive you home." "I'm not getting in that car with you, you're drunk," Sophia said. "No, just one small whiskey, that's all," Dorothy said. "Oh yes? Tell that to the police. What's the number of your car?" Sophia stood up, holding her leg. "No, please don't call the police. Listen, I want to help you. Take a taxi to the hospital. I can give you the money for it, go to the accident." "How much money?" Sophia asked.
10,
Dorothy said.
40, Sophia said.
"Well, how about 20?
Dorothy Collins said nervously.
40. But I haven't got a lot of money with me.
40, or else I'm calling the police now, Sophia said coldly.
She took out her phone from her coat pocket.
Okay, said Dorothy Collins.
She got her handbag from the car, took out £40, gave the money to Sophia, and said, "Here you are." Sophia took the money and walked away. She went down the street to her car, a small blue Fiat, 10 years old. She sat in the car and waited for the woman to drive away. Then, Sophia drove home. On the next 3 Sunday evenings, Sophia went to 3 different pubs. She waited for a drunk, or nearly drunk, driver to come out. Sometimes, she waited 2 hours or more. Then, she took out her little bottle of red liquid, and minutes later, there was an accident. The drivers never wanted Sophia to call the police. They were always ready to give her money. Sometimes it was £40, sometimes £100. Once, a big fat man with gold teeth gave her £200. That was a very good Sunday. The next Sunday, Sophia found a pub in a street not far from the Bluebird. It was a very cold night, so she waited in her car. After an hour, a man came out of the pub with a bottle of whiskey in one hand. He looked up and down the car park. Sophia watched him. He can't find his car. He's drunk, I suppose, she thought. After a minute or two, the man began to walk across the car park to a big green Honda. His foot slipped twice and he nearly fell, but at last, he got to the Honda and began to open the door. Sophia put some red liquid on her leg and got out of her car. She walked quickly to the Honda and crouched down at the back of it, ready for the accident. "Hey, you!" Sophia quickly turned around. A woman ran across the car park, a woman in a yellow coat and green trousers, with very blonde hair. She had a camera in her hand. Sophia stood up and began to walk away, but Dorothy Collins was quicker than she thought. Dorothy grabbed Sophia's arm and shouted, "You were at the Bluebird 3 weeks ago." "Gee, what? Who are you? What are you talking about?" "I am just going home." "Let go of my arm," said Sophia. The man with the whiskey bottle in his hand came to the back of his Honda and said, "Hey, what's going on? What's happening?" His face was very red, and his eyes were half closed. "This woman took £40 from me 3 weeks ago. She's a fake. She sits down behind your car and then says your car hit her, but it doesn't. She does it to get money out of you. She says, 'Oh, you're drunk, and I'm going to call the police,' and because you are drunk and afraid, you give her money to stop her." "I did," Dorothy Collins told him. The man looked at Sophia and said, "What?" Sophia pulled her arm away, but before she could run, Dorothy Collins grabbed her other arm. "Look at her leg," she said to the man. "That's blood on it." "But how did it get there?" "She put it there, all ready for the accident." "Your accident?" "Because in a minute, you're going to hit her with your car, and then she's going to cry out, 'Oh, my leg, my leg.'" But nothing happened. She's a fake. At last, the man understood. He looked at Sophia, and his face got redder. "You little," he said angrily. He pushed Sophia, and she fell to the ground. But before he could hit her again, Dorothy Collins pulled him away and said, "No, wait." The bottle of whiskey fell from the man's hand. It hit the ground next to Sophia and broke. Whiskey went over her face and her coat. "My whiskey," the man cried. He looked angrily at the 2 women, then began to walk back to the pub and said, "I need to get some more whiskey for my wife." Sophia stood up slowly and then began to walk away. "Wait," said Dorothy. Sophia laughed. "Why?" "I don't want to talk to you." "Oh, I think you do. You see, I took some photos of you when you were behind that man's car, waiting." "They are interesting photos," Dorothy said. Sophia stopped, then walked back to Dorothy and said, "How did you find me?" "I went to a different pub every night. I waited in the car parks and watched. And here you are, doing your dirty little blackmail again. It's not blackmail. He was drunk, and that night, you were drunk too, Sophia said quickly. But my car didn't hit you, said Dorothy. How do you know? You were drunk, said Sophia. No, not drunk, just happy, that's all. When I got home, I began to think. You wanted that 40 pounds. You wanted it very much. And I know all about blackmail. You see, I was a fake once too, said Dorothy. Sophia looked at her. What did you do? When I was a child, my mother and father often went out in the evenings, to dinner, to their friends, to the cinema. They always got a babysitter to stay with me, since I was only 9 years old. The babysitters were always girls, usually students about 19 or 20. They needed the money badly, students always do. But I liked money too. It was easy. At first, I was nice to them. Then, I said, I want half your babysitting money, or I'm going to tell mommy about you. I'm going to say things like, you hit me, you put very hot water on my feet, you pulled my hair, you put me in the dark. These things weren't true, of course, but the girls were afraid of my mother. She was famous, you see. She wrote books about crime and was always on television. And when she was angry, she wasn't a very nice person. So, the babysitters said nothing, and gave me half of their money. What a nice child you were, Sophia said. No, I wasn't nice. But some people get nicer when they get older. I don't do blackmail now. But I know a blackmailer when I see one. She smiled at Sophia, and Sophia looked back at her. What do you want? Sophia asked. Dorothy put out her hand and said, I want my 40-pound back, of course. 5 minutes later, Sophia drove her little Fiat out of the pub car park. She was very angry. Because she was angry, she drove very fast. 3 kilometers from the pub, Sophia's car went off the road and hit a wall. She didn't die, but she broke one arm, one leg, and hit her head badly on the car. She couldn't move, she couldn't get out of the car, and she couldn't get her mobile phone. 2 policemen found Sophia in her car an hour later and called an ambulance. Sophia's face was pale, and she couldn't speak. The policemen were not friendly. I can smell alcohol on her, the first policeman said. Another drunk driver. Why do people drink and drive? The second policeman said. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe.